And now we got Robert Smith. What's up, Robert?
Robert, welcome to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Did you ever play in Cleveland when you were with the Vikings?
Hey,
He came in with jokes. He gonna come in. You know what?
That's that boom headshot right there.
You
Bushy
Minnesota
dead,
cats, I'm gonna get y'all. I'm gonna get y'all. No, he came in with jokes.
Hey, check this out. This how it works in the locker room. When somebody get one on somebody, you just pile on because that means it ain't on you. That's how that
Jumping on the pile.
Well played, Robert Smith. Well played, man.
Yeah, and I think we were up there one time. It was I think it might have been a preseason game. I don't know. I think I was hurt.
You played a Hall of Fame game here once. It was in Canton.
Yeah.
And I didn't play in that Hall of Fame. I don't think I played in that Hall of Fame game either because I was coming off the ACL.
You did not. I was covering it. I was working in Columbus. You were there. Chris Carter was there, but I know you did not play.
Yeah, and that's
play in the
just
game?
when that's just when Warren Moon had come to the team.
Okay,
Yep,
so
right.
guess what? I remember that game. I broke my hand, right? And we lost like 59-3 in a preseason game. Seriously.
Are you talking about? You're talking about the Cleveland game.
Yeah, when Minnesota went to Cleveland, when Warren Moon first got
Right.
there.
Wow.
We got stomped. I was like,
Just a sign of things to come.
I say,
Foreshadow.
and they say, hey, don't worry about it. This is just preseason. I say, bull. Like, I ain't never got my butt beat like that. Wow.
They all feel the same. But the funniest thing about those kind of games though is all the new family that you didn't realize you had. The extended cousins that somehow get a hold of your number and
Want tickets.
Oh man, but you know what? And they used to tell us this all the time, and it is so true. I'm 50 years old now. I've been out of the league for 21 years. You never get out of the ticket business. You're never out of the ticket business. Like if you ever played in the league, people think you still get tickets all the time. Doesn't matter where the game is. Hey, why do you think I know people? Never mind. Like it just there's this website, an app called StubHub. They got tickets too.
Yeah. And you have to pay for them.
Yeah. Let me give you my password real quick. Hey man, this is full price. Yeah, I know.
No, that's a good line, StubHub.
Yeah.
So we're trying to figure out if this homecoming for Chubb will be any special, a special event for him. What's your take on that, Robert? Or is it just another game? You got to go do your thing.
I mean, he's such a low-key guy. It wouldn't surprise me if he probably tells everybody, hey, it's game time, it's game week. So, I don't have time for all the nonsense. He just hires somebody to take care of all that stuff for him. Have somebody on the team say, hey, can you handle all this for me?
Right.
His personality allows him to say no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
And nobody's surprised, like, oh, that's just Nick.
By the way,
It
it could be a coincidence, but Nick Chubb has only played against the Falcons once. It was here, not in Atlanta.
And he went
But
crazy.
in that game, he had 20 carries for 176 yards.
I'll take that.
Wow.
I'll take that.
I mean, although that's not uncommon for him.
No,
I
it's
guess.
not. Leroy, I know you got to scoot. Thanks
See
for
you,
spending
Leroy.
time with us, bro. We'll talk very
Stay
soon.
dry, Leroy.
Protect
Yeah,
that other
man,
hand,
it's
Leroy. Protect that
it's
other hand.
pretty-
You need it.
Hey. Wow, you still on that, huh? You gotta let that,
Pause.
ooh, you gotta let that go. I can still lift my cheeseburger.
Hey, Leroy, at least you ain't got that ball. You don't have that ball dinger.
Oh yeah, he just got.
Yeah, that thing's
You got
nasty.
that finger that's not with the other ones.
Yeah, that's like Anthony Munoz has the same thing. It's
You might
nasty.
as well start over.
Yeah, my boy Josh got that
It's
like
nasty.
I'm going to just start over with my finger.
All right, boys.
Peace out, Leroy. Take care,
All
brother.
right, Elroy.
All right.
Elroy. Robert, what do you make of this matchup? It's one of those games that, I don't think anything's going to surprise anybody, to be perfectly honest, because that's where we are in the NFL now. But what do you make of it?
Well, it's interesting. I had a chance to call the Falcons in Seattle last week. So, they got their first win of the season. And, they had chances in both of those first two games that they played. Against the Saints, they got off to a quick start, let Jameis and that Saints offense get back in. And then against the Rams, they were able to fight back and almost win that game. And then they went up to Seattle and really got things going. They got a really good rush attack with Cordero Patterson, who, was initially drafted up there in Minnesota as a receiver and a kick returner, and guy's physical. I don't know, saying those kind of things to a team that has Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. People are like, yeah, well, we know what physical is, but he's a good runner. But what's more concerning is those big targets on the outside and on the inside, because they line up Kyle Pitts just about everywhere. And people were worried about him not getting enough catches. He only had 4 catches in the first 2 games, but as you could see, he got it all the way up to 9. So he got 5 catches against Seattle on the road last week. But this Drake London kid, the rookie out of USC, he's a lot of fun to watch, man. And he is physical as hell. And, an interesting story about him, when Arthur Smith went up there to interview him before the draft, they asked him, why do you play so physical? And he said, I hate DBs. I just hate DBs, man. So, they ended up drafting him, and you can see the way that he plays. Not just physical, he's hurdling folks out there, and he's a big target. So I think it's going to be a great matchup. The way that Jacoby has been playing and played last week, in prime time, I thought was really impressive. Not just making the dinks and dunks like people thought, but really throwing on rhythm, throwing with great accuracy, with some zip. And, of course, the run game is kind of what we thought it was going to be. So Atlanta's got some problems on that side of the ball. So that could be a major factor. So this is a game with 2 talented offenses. And I think the Browns have the edge defensively. This is the kind of thing where it come down to special teams and turnovers. Should be a good game, though.
Robert, I got 3 key matchups for the Browns defense versus Atlanta's offense. JOK versus Cordell Patterson, Kyle Pitts. All right, now and the Kyle
if JOK plays.
Exactly. If Kyle Pitts, all right, let me run this by you and tell me what you think. Do you think it would be smart? So you know how the Browns run 4-2-5, they have a nickel come in. Instead of having, G New go down in that nickel position, what if they leave him outside and put in Ronnie Harrison so they had that bigger body in the box and that can also check Kyle Pitts? Don't you think that would be like a good matchup? Because, Ronnie Harrison is pretty good man-to-man on the tight end.
Well, here's the thing, though, with Kyle Pitts, you pretty much have to be good everywhere. Unless you're playing strictly man and you're traveling somebody, then people are going to have to defend him in all kinds of places because they'll line him up, as an inline tight end. They'll move him to the outside. They'll motion him. So they'll move him all over the place. So, it sounds like a good plan going against a guy like Kyle Pitts, having one guy that you think is going to be really great covering him. But he really challenges the depth in a secondary and the coverage skills of your linebacking core, which makes him so dangerous. And, for a guy his size and the way he moves, it's amazing, just watching him coming out of Florida. And by the way, he played, he was only 20 years old as a rookie until October. So he just turned 21 last week, I think it was, or the week before. So, he was a young player, but got all kinds of athleticism. And again, I think he really forces a defense to have a big number of defenders that can cover him because they do such a good job moving him around.
Hey, Robert, let's switch gears to the Buckeyes, and here's the really important question heading into this game. If the Buckeyes were only allowed to use me and Mikey McNuggets as their running backs this week, would they still win?
Yes.
Over Rutgers.
God, I'd pay to watch that.
I would pay to watch
Only me and McNuggets.
Well, you're the fullback.
Yes,
I'm clearly the scat back.
Would they still win if we – I'm being serious. If only we were allowed to play running back, would they still be able to overcome that and win the game?
Apart from, people probably breaking down laughing in the huddle,
yes.
Having some trouble that way. I think it's still possible, man. It's just amazing to me watching this offense operate. I mean, what we've seen, with Egbuka and Fleming, and everybody knew coming into the season, what you had with an injured Jackson Smith and Jigba now and Marvin Harrison. I mean, and then having Cade Stover. They got some great nicknames, by the way. It's Farmer Gronk for Cade Stover, and then it's Pork Chop for Mayan Williams.
That's a great nickname, Pork Chop.
That's a damn Pork Chop is perfect, isn't it?
So is Farmer Gronk, really.
Are they going to cover?
What's that?
Are they going to cover the 40-point spread?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I haven't watched a lot of Rutgers this year, but my guess is yes. I mean, they could have put up twice as many points against Wisconsin. I'm guessing Rutgers isn't going to have too many answers.
Or a Greg Schiano revenge game, no?
Robert, let me save you the issue. You don't have to watch Rutgers. Trust me. Just save it.
I think they're like dead last in Division I in offense.
Iowa scored two touchdowns all season.
That's a good point about the Schiano revenge thing. Although he's probably more mad at Tennessee than he would be at Columbus for what happened there. But
yeah, exactly.
I think they can pretty much call their number in this. There's just way too much firepower. This is more of just kind of refining the machine, if you will, and it's looked pretty dang good so far.
Robert, I don't know if you got to see much of the Michigan-Maryland game, but I was shocked that Maryland played with them the way they did. I mean, they spotted them 7 points on the opening kickoff, and after that, they played even with them.
Yeah, and didn't Taulio got hurt in that one, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
Yeah, and that it kind of surprised me too. So, this Michigan team, I mean, having JJ in at quarterback, it obviously gives them a mobile option there, and the offense is firing. But yeah, defensively surprised me as well, and obviously losing the two big edge rushers from a year ago, they're going to be giving up some points, which is going to make things interesting for the rest of the season.
Yeah, they could not get pressure on the quarterback at all. It was stunning.
Yeah.
Their lack of pressure was just stunning to me.
This is an oddball question, but I've been watching lately. I've been watching HBCU football, and I saw Jackson State.
Did you see Jay Walker on any of the calls?
Yeah.
Jay's my guy. Jay was up in Minnesota. He was with us with the Vikings back in '98, and a friend of mine. I just talked to Jay a couple nights ago. He was a state rep up in Maryland for a number of years. He stopped doing that, but he's been calling those games for a while now.
Yeah,
but you were talking about Jackson State.
Yep, Jackson State. Do you feel like do you believe that HBCU could ever be ranked in the top 25?
That's a really good question. I know Deion's done such a great job of recruiting there and kind of getting that program going. I mean, I'm trying to think now, have we ever seen like North Dakota State? I don't know that there were any rankings where those guys got in there. So it would be really difficult, and you'd have to have scheduled and beaten some major teams to be able to do something like that, and some of the Power 5 teams. So it would be hard to do.
By the way, Stroud has thrown through more touchdowns last week than the Rutgers quarterback's thrown all year.
That doesn't surprise me.
He's done that twice.
Probably done it every week, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's actually done it 3 weeks, the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, outside of Notre Dame.
We're sitting here laughing and giggling and watch Rutgers come in here and put up a number.
They got Rutgers. ESPN's got Rutgers with a 1.8% percent chance to win
That's
the game.
1.7%.
Yeah, they also had the Jets at 0.1% chance. So how'd that work out?
No. Oh, yeah, at the end of the game you're talking about.
Hey, Jay, those are the things you think, but that you don't say, right? Like, we got to just move past that one on the 0.1% thing, man.
Keep it moving.
If Ohio State did not play a single starter, would they win the game?
No.
Yes.
I think they would, right?
No starters? Did they play all backups?
Yeah.
There's still 4 and 5-star kids. Rutgers is
I'm about to
Ohio
say
State
it's a bunch of
absolutely.
5 stars behind them.
Wouldn't Ohio State still win, Robert?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just not by
All
much,
backup,
obviously.
All right, McNuggets got something for you.
Listen, erase this, kill this if by some freak, and I don't think that we'll be close, but if for some fluke, nobody thought Maryland was going to play Michigan the way they did.
I did.
No.
They still didn't win, though.
Yeah, but Rutgers is
but Maryland,
Maryland's at least okay.
and Rutgers are just.
I think
different.
Rutgers beat Maryland last year.
Yeah, but that was one
I know.
time.
I was getting ready to say. I know that Rutgers pulled some things off last year. Different team this year.
Yeah. Go ahead, McNuggets.
Robert, last one here. I know you were on the call for the Falcons Seahawks last week. You saw that Falcons offensive line in person.
I was watching some of that game.
If Myles Garrett can't play after what happened this week, how can the Browns get pressure on Mariota, and is this offensive line any good?
Yeah, I mean, they're decent. They were able to get up there against the Seattle team, and that it's a defense in Seattle that's kind of had some troubles. They just moved their scheme this year, brought in a new coordinator with Clinton Hurd, and they've changed things up a bit, and so Atlanta was able to run the ball effectively against them. But they're a pretty good offensive line, and a guy like Mariota, I think somewhat akin to Mitch Trubisky. Has the ability to move around the pocket really well, but I think is even more dangerous in running the football. Now, Arthur Smith said that he wants to be careful about that. Says he wants to win the war, not just these individual games, because he's thinking about Mariota's health as the season goes on. So they're going to try and protect him. But that's what you have to be really careful about in games like this, that when you're rushing a quarterback like Marcus Mariota, that you just get to his depth and don't get past it, because he's really good at climbing in the pocket, sliding, escaping, and even with some design runs and some zone read, can put a lot of pressure on defenses.
Robert,
Thanks, Robert.
Thanks for your time for sure. You got a game this weekend or no?
Yeah, we do. We got Seattle again, this time up in Detroit.
Very cool.
So
hey, Detroit's looked good on offense.
Mm-hmm. Man, they really have.
But they lost
What was
Swift.
that?
They lost Swift. He's out for a while.
Well, then they got Jamal Williams.
Yeah, he's played well.
Good backup. Yeah, but having Swift out certainly isn't going to help, and Amon-Ra St. Brown a little banged up. We'll see, if he's going to play in the game as well. But they're all fun games to call, man. It's a pleasure. And next week we got Philly at Arizona, so that one's going to be a lot of fun too.
Very good. Well,
Thanks,
enjoy the
Robert.
call, Robert. We'll see you next week. Thanks, man.
All right, see you
Robert
guys.
Smith on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. That kind of talk.